Hello there, and as usual, I'm Aaron from Laststandgamers, and welcome. So you might just recognise this ship from our survival series, the one that we managed to crash into our planet. This is of course the Mighty Weasel, a ship that is truly very painful to actually look at, but the Mighty Weasel itself, I think we all kind of secretly fell in love with it, and it's a ship that I would normally just look away at, but because it became our home and it just featured all the equipment and supplies we needed, it was a ship that I really did love. So before we release this on the workshop, I just wanted to show you around it, give you a little bit of a tour, explain some of the settings and some of the features, and just have a bit of a nostalgic sort of moment. I'm also going to be doing a question and answer over the next few days, so if you guys have got any questions for me, then stick them down in the comments below. But let's get started. So this little ship here was created for one purpose and one purpose only. The dustbin was the idea of an extra ship to carry supplies from the mining drill, so Sage could mine longer and further away. So you can see the mining ship's actually under here. It had quite a good capacity, but the problem is he had to keep jumping it back and forward, where the dustbin could collect the supplies from him, jump back to the main ship, offload, and we could just be much more efficient at mining. Now if we actually go in here, we've got an open sort of cockpit where we have a smaller cockpit in this side, an extra little seat that we ended up adding in an emergency sort of situation, as well as a spare gyroscope, because Aaron always tends to forget to add gyroscopes on, and seating is quite important when you need to jump between different locations. So let's actually work our way under here. We've got the mining ship. So the mining ship, once again, very simple, and you end up just adding seats on as you need more and more people to actually travel on that ship. So we're actually underneath the Mighty Weasel here itself. Now the Mighty Weasel had a lot of stages. Right at the back here, some of the original red crash ships still exist. Sadly, we decided to paint it, but I believe the few blocks around this area are from the original red ship. So that's been 2 or 3 seasons ago, and that ship still kept them parts. Absolutely amazing that we managed to rebuild this and change the whole shape of the red ship into something that we actually wanted. Now you're probably wondering how it ended up looking so just ugly and off-center. Well, originally this was one of Sage's ships up here, but to transport or carry more of our ships, we needed to add a hangar bay on. So you can see Sage's very sort of distinctive style in here, where he ribs the different components and everything's very square and rectangular, something I quite like. You can see the windows down there below, and then towards the front you can see my styling, where I like to round things off and curve things off as well. And Scott has a very functional sort of idea when it comes to building hangars, so you can see his side here with a little bit of help from my rounding. And you can just see stuck a few different connectors on the side, and we've got the merge block for the dustbin. So if we actually enter into the hangar bay, you can see that we've got a little welder here on the front that Scott added on just to help repair up his ships if they got damaged. It was good for fighters. We've also got a whole variety of weapons on this ship. It didn't get into too many firefights, but when it did come out on top in most of the cases. But let's have a look inside. So we've got the main hangar bay door here that's kind of covered from this side area, as well as a maintenance hatch on the side. This maintenance hatch was really just designed for Scott, so we could get through into the interior area a little bit faster, and it was great for trapping him as well. So under here we've got 2 more thrusters, and we're into the main sort of cargo bay, or Scott's half of the cargo bay, where he's got a lot of connectors on the floor, and it's just very basic, very simple. And then over to this area we have the area of the cargo bay that I designed, and I wanted something a little bit bigger, but at the same time I wanted to be able to have this space convertible. So we've got the jump drives there, and the idea was to slowly fill this up with different things as we needed it. So if I just open this small submarine door here, we'll enter into the backup refinery. And something that Sage always had to persevere with is doing airlocks on the doors, because I used to leave doors open all the bloody time. So in this area we've got the backup refinery, so if the main refinery is processing ore or refining metal sheets, you could come down here and you could just process what you needed to build instantly. It was a good overall idea, and I quite liked doing that. And up here we have Scott's lab. Now Scott's lab served not too much of a purpose, as apart from a place where he could just cryopod out, and originally we did have a cockpit seat in here so we could steer the ship at a pinch, say we weren't very in control of the bridge. Now coming back into this area, we start to enter into the mangle of the Weasel itself. So we open up the airlock, we'll close this door up behind us to please Sage, and this door sort of needs, I think it actually pleases pretty much everyone. And then we'll open this one up as well. I do love these submarine doors, but they do have some issues in the later builds. We've got another seat there so we can jump from different locations, because there was one part where we were traveling and we just had to keep sitting down, then getting back up and working on different areas of the ship. We've got another entrance point back into that hangar there. Something you'll notice when you're building survival ships is just access to areas. You want to access them fast, and above here we have Sage's maze of production facility. I've never seen, to be honest, a better run sort of production facility. Sage had that absolutely nailed. He had everything organized, and it's going to be very difficult if he doesn't make it out of that explosion. Let's have a quick look around in this area as well. So you can see this is something I built. Originally it was going to be glass there, and we were going to have diagnostics of the ship, but I just never got around to installing them. And we come towards the front here where I've got this weird sort of airlock that I built out of a half block, but still quite a nice feature. Let's head up to the upper deck. So the upper deck was a combination of Sage's old ship as well as the living quarters, and Aaron has fallen down into the void. So as we work our way up through the maze, you'll notice that the doors have actually gone. If you were watching the survival series, we ended up taking these out because they just had a real big problem with the mod, and the mod just got ripped off the workshop. So there's loads of different things missing from the ship itself, but at the same time you can remember what was there. We had some beds in here where you can play some dramatic music, turn the lights on and off. Let's have a look. So you've got music block stop, music box start, as well as turn it off. I've got the music disabled at the moment. And next door we actually have the projector room where we were planning on receiving numerous mission briefings. I really do quite like this. If we set it up in the right order, we trigger that, it closes up the doors and activates the projector where we would receive a mission briefing. We can also do that the other way around. So if I press that, that should preview whatever's going on at the moment. It's a preview of the enemy spaceship. So let's just turn that off and we'll close that down. Doors will open back up and our lights should change. Very nice indeed. We've also got, what's that, sound block, and we also have a stop for the sound block, I think, as well. Oh no, that's the warning button, but still, what the hell was that? Aaron doesn't even know what's going on in his own ship. I think some of these features that are wired up were wired up particularly for different sorts of episodes, so every now and then when I go back into it, it confuses me. We've got some nice little signs in areas as well for living quarters. We've got a sign over here that I made just off a fluke. I thought it'd be nice to have a little bit of fun with something, and originally this is where Sage's marker was. Now the final part of the ship tour was one of my favourite areas, the bridge. Sage spent a lot of time working on this area. I spent quite a bit of time working on the glass as well, and it just came out looking really nice. And if I just switch to spectator cam, a ship that was built by 3 people, this is what sort of result you're going to get. If you're looking for something that's functional and just works, this is exactly the result you're going to get. But at the same time, it turned into something that was quite beautiful. Anyway, I've rambled on enough. I'd like to thank you guys for watching, and there's going to be a link down in the description below. So if you want to download this ship and check it out, there is a few blocks missing. But anyway, it's quite nice to have a look around. I'll see you next time.